Considering the Western states have been involved in counterinsurgency warfare pretty much since the end of World War II, and certainly for 20 of the last 25 years, there is a fundamental lesson that modern states seem absolutely determined to forget. You see, in counterinsurgency warfare, and this is the type of conflict that takes place amongst the civilian population, hard-won experience has shown again and again that force alone does not win. This isn't ideology, it's not activism, it's just doctrine and fact. It's laid out clearly in works like Learning to Eat Soup with a Knife by John Nagle or Bandit Country by Toby Harnden. And the central lesson is simple. The population is the centre of gravity. You're not primarily fighting armed opponents, you're fighting for legitimacy in the eyes of ordinary people on the streets. And if you lose that legitimacy, everything else follows. When authorities behave in ways that are overly aggressive, arbitrary, humiliating or indiscriminate, they don't suppress resistance, they manufacture it. They take neutral people who want nothing to do with the conflict, and push them into the open arms of those who oppose the system. And this is how insurgencies are born. Effective counterinsurgency requires nuance. It requires calm, disciplined and considered behaviour. It requires emotional control under pressure. You see, violence is a tool, but it's not the default and it's never the objective. Force has to be discriminate, proportional and accountable. Arrests have to be precise. Operations must be intelligence-led. Every action has to be explainable, not just legally, but socially and morally. It has to stand up when told to the people, because this type of conflict, perception matters more than any statistic. One unjust arrest can undo months of trust building. One heavy-handed raid can collapse entire intelligence networks. And one unnecessary act of force can radicalise whole families, communities and generations. You see, the goal isn't to dominate the population. The goal is to separate the threat from the people, not treat the people as the actual threat. Heavy-handed tactics don't isolate extremists, they isolate the state. And this is where these lessons collide with what we're seeing today. Have a look at America. We see increasing examples of ICE agents using unnecessary force, aggressive tactics and crude racial profiling. They're targeting a lot of individuals are not violent, not dangerous, and in many cases they're not even the right people. And then look at us in the UK. We see counter-terrorism policing deployed against people for social media posts, speech, opinions, online expression. It's treated as if dissent itself is a security threat and it justifies them coming kicking your door in. Different countries, different agencies, but with the same strategic mistake. This is not precision policing, it's not intelligence-led security, it's blunt force authority. And blunt force authority always backfires. And here's something that most people don't understand. In the military, you don't want psychopaths. Despite the myths, people who lack empathy, impulse control or perspective are absolute liabilities. They escalate situations, they create scandals, they generate resentment faster than any enemy propaganda could. What you need are professionals, those that can remain calm under provocation, people who understand the second and third order effects, people who grasp how power is used matters more than how visibly it's displayed. You see, cultural awareness is not political correctness, it is an absolute combat skill. You see, humiliation creates enemies, arrogance creates resistance, and disrespect creates legitimacy for the opposition. Every interaction sends a message to the people. And when individuals hide behind a badge or a uniform and behave emotionally, ego-driven or without restraint, the damage goes far beyond the incident itself. And we know this as well. Trust erodes, resentment hardens, and then legitimacy just collapses. And that's why accountability is not a weakness. It is a strategic weapon that's so important. You see, because when wrongdoing occurs, visible accountability matters more than public statements. Cover-ups destroy trust faster than the original act ever could. A population that sees transparency, investigation and consequences is far less likely to turn hostile, even when mistakes are made. And now we come to the question that exposes the hypocrisy at the heart of this issue. How can Western governments condemn how the IRGC treats its citizens, the intimidation, arbitrary arrests, suppression of dissent, if we excuse the same behaviour when it happens under our own flags in our own countries? If the justification becomes, well, they fit the profile, they should have complied, they posted the wrong thing, they're suspects so it's justified, then the moral argument is already lost. Authoritarian systems do not fail because they use force, they fail because they lose legitimacy. And legitimacy is not something that the state declares. It is something that the population either grants or takes away. You cannot export values that you don't practice yourself. You cannot condemn repression abroad while normalising it at home. And you cannot claim to be winning hearts and minds while treating the population as a threat by default. That's not counterinsurgency, or if it is, it's very bad counterinsurgency. It's actually the opposite. It's a textbook method of how insurgencies are created. And these lessons have already been paid for, in blood, in failure, and across history. Ignoring them doesn't make us safer. It just proves that the government wasn't listening.